Hello, welcome. Legends from the Painted Cave, WCOM FMLP, Carborough Chapel Hill. We are once again, last week was our 2-year anniversary of weekly shows, and we have Ian back. He's been vacationing, or not really sure, but I hope you have been vacationing the last couple of weeks.
I've been doing that as well as some house sitting. So
Yeah, a little closer. Oh, you're on 4. Okay, let's put that on.
yeah, I want to give Trey the good one.
Good. So with Ian, gosh, so good to have you back. Missed you.
Good moment, everyone.
Good moment, everyone. Well said. Looks like everything is on and we are recording. Cool.
Check.
Let's turn that off. Hiccups, hello, good morning. Welcome to Legends from the Painted Cave once again.
I'm back again.
Again and again and again and again and again and again.
Who's that over there? Who's that?
Who is
we
that?
Haven't seen that guy
Ghostly
in
character.
3-4 weeks, a whole month.
It's been a while. It's good to see you all.
Been a moment.
It's so good to see you all.
I hope it's good to be back because it's good to have you back.
I got
Because, you know, part of our heart was gone.
Yeah. I felt soulless without some Ian.
Soulless. As in solace.
Hair's getting long. Look at him.
Yeah, getting shaggy.
That was my nickname in grade school, Shaggy Dog, because my mom kind of had my hair longer than the ordinary straight, clean cut.
The other little
the
Catholic
kids gave
Catholic
me. Yeah,
boys.
the other Catholic boys. Yeah. So that was kind of fun.
Catholic
Shaggy
hippie.
Dog. I mean, you know, it's my mom. She did this to me, contrary to my father's desires.
Blame it-
Military.
Blame it on mama.
I'm grateful for Mama and Papa. Who would I be without them?
Wouldn't be
Not
here.
even going to go there.
You wouldn't be here.
We have a crystal ball up on the console,
We got the crystal.
so we can. So if anybody has any questions, some future events they're wondering about, maybe identity crisis, consult the crystal ball. Hiccups is our seer and our diviner, so you can call in 919-246-9639 for a divination moment if you have questions, which
I guess so.
you may not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a new day, right?
It's always a new day.
New moment.
Just because magic, you haven't seen magic yet, doesn't mean it's not on its way.
Miracles. So what miracles have run across your path lately, Ian?
All the miracles. Yeah.
Walking on water, calling rain down from the sky. Oh no, that's the weatherman. That's Hiccup's department.
No, just learning to be with it all.
Past, present, future.
I think it's
how to be.
we're always talking about that oneness with everything, but I think it's good to remind yourself you're part of that one as well, and not just an observer of that one. So you're the one as well.
Outside. I'm an outsider.
But no,
No.
key piece. You're vital. All of you.
Beauty above me, beauty below me, beauty surrounding me, beauty within me. It's a good reminder.
It is.
That sounds about like your motto.
That should be all of our
I
mottos.
know. That's what I was thinking.
You just set me up.
Yeah, it was.
Sometimes you just set me up to say what you want to say.
Yeah, well, you know, I just want a mirror. That's all.
Sort of
A
feels
sounding board.
like that deep.
You're right.
That deep oneness isn't a place to stay, because you need to use what you've learned in there to come out and deal with this. And if you
I
forget
don't know
to
if that
come out-
microphone is close enough to really get
Uh-oh. Sorry, everyone.
A good,
You want me to yell?
you can yell or pull that out or bring your chair in or...
Bring my chair in. Yeah, like that video, one of Louis' meditation videos was saying something along those lines. It's like you can meditate forever, but you got to come out and use it, you know.
Bring that back,
Bring
the
that-
revelations or...
If you just stay stuck in there, you're helping yourself, but you know that's really not the goal, is it?
I don't know, man. The Buddha, he went into meditation so deep that he was on a thin thread of life because his body, he wasn't eating. But we have a body.
It is that weird blend of how do you bring the doing and the meditation into one, so that when you're actually out in the world doing, you're within a meditation in itself.
Well, we want to relate, right? I mean, it's our human, you know,
To
self.
feel connected.
Connection.
Louis was saying that with these YouTube videos he's making, that he's finding that he needs to collaborate, and it brings up new ideas and new experiences, and we can move out of the box. You know, human connection. I mean, it's as scary as that can be.
Pull you out of the cycle, yeah. Almost becomes hypnotic at some point within yourself. So yeah, it's good to come out of whatever space you're within.
Hypnosis.
Yeah.
Society hypnosis. The mass hallucination.
The Matrix.
Is that what creates our reality? Is mass hypnosis?
Possibly through a shared consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard something sort
That's
of
a great
along
idea.
those lines the other day, like reality's made of consciousness but created by imagination. Something along those lines. And then like the understanding that everything was made up at one time. You know?
By some
By
supernatural power. Yeah.
Someone said
Or
today
the
is
collective.
today.
Huh?
Someone named it today, tomorrow. You know, those are just words, sounds. Just sounds put together to make words. It was all, you know. I've heard it said before that we would have never needed math if we never started using it.
Yeah. The chicken or the egg? What's your vote? Chicken or egg?
Well, I always say dinosaurs had eggs, and they were here before the chickens. So eggs came first.
Yeah. Or, you know, the perspective of the idiom, is the glass half empty or half full? What, that's my only options? You know, people get trapped in like, oh, these are your options. You have to choose one. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's just where it is in the glass.
yeah, there's a good one right there.
It's just there.
I'm happy there's even any water at all.
Or, like with the Matrix, it's like, there is no spoon. You know?
The mass collective hypnotic. It's this. What's between? What's in between the glass and the water?
Oh,
The
So
space
much.
between.
there's so much going on in
The
between.
silence.
Hey, my buddy Tracy.
The sound of silence.
Let me bring him in. See what he wants
Trey.
to say.
What do you want to say? I don't want to say anything. I want to feel what's going on. Anger helps me feel alive. I mean, right?
In
It
a
happens
weird way,
sometimes
yeah.
like that. Especially
It's like-
if there's a depression and we want to come out of that. Anger is useful.
It is the release.
But then, you know, we have to moderate that, of
Yeah.
course.
It's got
Ooh, Trey.
Peace, family.
Welcome.
What's going on?
Grand Rising.
Rising. Yes, sir.
Grand Canyon.
I met Trey through vending.
Vending?
Yeah, we were vending and
It was at a Grateful Dead following.
yeah, Grateful
What?
Dead show.
A show in
It was in
Chapel Hill, or
It was downtown Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
I forget exactly the place it was at. I actually
a
wasn't.
club, or
Yeah, some type of bar, club.
Sort of, yeah, like an upscale fancy beer place.
Yeah, they had a live band playing. It was pretty neat. It was my first time experiencing, that type of vibe.
oh,
Yeah, I actually wasn't even supposed to be going. Well, I didn't plan on going, and and I decided, take that and went, and then I met Hiccups, and now I'm here. So,
well, divine providence.
yeah.
Hiccups didn't even realize he was going to go either. So
Oh yeah, I was actually called to come cook grilled cheeses because no one showed up to cook food for the event. And by the time I got a hold of the coordinator, he said, "I found someone." He's like, "Well, I'll give you a free ticket since you were willing to come help. You can just come for free." And I was like, "Well, I mean, I heard about it through vending." He was like, "You can vend too." I was like, "Okay, I'll come vend." Selling pine cones.
That's how it happens.
serendipitous.
This
Ser-
is a vibe. I like this.
It
We
is a
are
cool
in the
spot.
studio. Here shortly, we're moving. Or
Okay.
WCOM is moving to a new building.
Okay, same area, just a new building.
It's a couple blocks away around the corner.
Okay,
A brand new, yeah.
just for expansion. Just to expand, or
Uh,
just new territories. Exploring kind of thing.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was
Growth.
curious. Growth. Yeah, I like that.
Growth?
Growth.
Are you growing, Hiccups?
I hope so.
Trey, I have your bag still, and if I knew you were going to be
man,
here, I
that's
would
a
have
blessing.
brought.
It's all good. I'm just, I'm grateful to hear you got it.
Safe and sound
Heard that.
in the storage building.
I was gonna remind you to bring it, but you were already on the road. Oh. Where have you been?
On the road to freedom, I think, right?
On the
Isn't
road
that,
to freedom.
isn't that what we're doing? I'm not on the road to imprisonment. Praise the gods.
Shay.
What do you think about prison, Ian?
Definitely against
For a
it.
random question against it.
Yeah, but I think we also imprison ourselves often within mindsets or perspectives. It's almost like your growth hiccups. You're saying your hope you're growing, and it's hard to witness our own growth sometimes. I almost feel like it's if you haven't seen like a nephew or something in a while, and it's like, oh my goodness, you've grown up so much because you haven't seen him in months, you know. And because you're with yourself every single day, it's hard to see your own growth.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's a beautiful statement. So what, in other words, is it sometimes hearing it from someone or something external can kind of help you visualize that growth?
But more, I think it's important to remember that you are growing. Even if you can't see it or feel it, you're always getting better. Learning from all the lessons we take in every single minute or day. Yeah. We're evolving. It's like your chicken or egg earlier. Like his arguments that dinosaurs had eggs, and so eggs came before chickens. But outside of that perspective, when it's really down to the species of chickens, I'm sure through evolution they formed the egg afterwards. That was more of something that helped them sustain life. But yeah, I don't believe it started off with an egg.
I think chickens are the closest relative to the dinosaur that we have.
Probably.
They're finding more out that they weren't really lizard; they were more bird.
Oh, we're into the they spectrum now.
The people, well, they as in the people who study such ideas, other than myself.
The dragon?
The dragon.
The dragon?
The dragon.
You You got the I thought the blue heron was, you know, the thing that closely resembled the dinosaurs these days, the blue heron.
Jimmy Heron.
Alligators, sharks.
Yeah.
Where we at? Do a prayer and get into a little meditation. You want to do that announcement to your left real quick so we can get that out of the way? 20th birthday for the radio station. They're asking everyone to come celebrate with them. All the listeners, sponsors, friends, family. If you have, let's see, you contact Dave. I don't see his contact information on here, but it is November 17th, 12 o'clock through 4 o'clock at the Weaver Street Market Lawn. That's in Carborough. 20th birthday celebration for WCOM. And it doesn't have Dave's contact information on here, but he is the coordinator.
That one does say please announce on the back of it.
Oh, there's more announcements. Wow. We'll do that next time. That's all the way in March. We got plenty of time.
Oh my. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's move into a sound bath meditation. Well, thank you. We had a round last night at our sound bath in Carborough at Carborough Town Commons, which we have every Sunday, 5:30 to 7:30, and we had a small group there, and Hiccups, I think, initiated a alphabetical gratitude sort of seance. Well, not seance, but so we all went around saying what we're grateful for with each letter of the alphabet to Z, A to Z. And I'm grateful that I have the ability to be grateful. That's a very important impression on me these days. So, yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, nature. Thank you, friends and family, for all the experiences that I've been so fortunate to be experiencing in this life. And one day I won't be here, and so that's also a motivation for gratitude. Just thank you. Thank you, thank you. Let's move into a meditation with that in mind, gratitude. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. Just here resting, receiving, allowing in this medicine drum sound bath meditation. Floating downstream. Turning now, circling around, back through the mist. Following your path out, now back. Back into your body, present moment realization. Breathing now, long breaths when you're ready. Welcome back. Thank you. Welcome back to your adventure body. Remembering your adventures and your journey. Replaying them throughout the day. Thank you, thank you. Sound bath. We are available
Bathing in
Travel.
sound.
to travel to your home or your celebration of life. Funerals, weddings, graduations, we'll be there. A friend of mine messaged me this morning, says that they want us to be there at their wedding, at their reception, and play for them. So
That's awesome.
that's will be in June.
Do we have to dress fancy? We all gonna have matching clothes, matching outfits?
At least carnations or something.
Just buy like some white shawls, and we all just wrap up in a blanket, like little babies.
Imagine.
Matching baby blanket outfits.
I think silk robes.
Like a bright light shining behind us as we play. Yeah. So last night, right before I didn't sleep. Another sleepless night.
Oh no.
Maybe about 5 o'clock, I fell asleep till you texted me at 6:30.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm running off coffee in hopes.
What in the world goes on in that brain of yours that keeps you awake so much?
So I was at the gym, so I was able to I actually went and did the treadmill and everything, tried to wear myself out, and went back and still couldn't get any sleep. But before I laid down, I did a prayer. And I was thinking, like, how do people pray? You know, because I haven't done it in so long. I was thinking, like, how did I pray as a child? But then I got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to ask God what he needs. Instead of, like, I'm sure he gets a lot of, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So I was like, what do you need? And he said nothing. And I was like, well, what can I do better? He's like, you're on the right path. And, you know, through imagination. I mean, I can't say I really, you know, connected with God and we had
Hiccups, you're doing fine.
Yeah, but that's just how it went down. And it was like, you know, he was really happy that I asked him how he was doing and what I could do for him or it or the source.
They.
Yeah, it was really neat. But that's what came back to me. It was I'm okay, you know. And then I was like, well, what can I do better? And you know, you're doing okay. So yeah, that's good. It's good to know.
That sounds like a clean conscience.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's a beautiful point, because I feel like we often forget that we can do that. You know, that being call out to, you know, God's source, whatever we call it, refer to it as, for questions we have, you know, and those answers will be revealed, whether it's through a feeling, a visual, you know, sign. So I think that's dope that you did that, you know, called out to source, you know, and ask, what can I do for you, or even for self? And yeah, that's awesome to hear, man.
It was really neat.
Yeah.
God's okay, guys. Anybody? I talked to him last night. Said he was fine.
Newsflash.
God's fine. He said I'm doing all right. So that's good
Do
to
you
know.
do this sort of meditation often, or this?
No, this is my
question, or
first.
this-
I was just like, what haven't I been doing? And I was like, sort of from talking to Louis about meditation, I was like, well, let's try prayer again. Like, it's been so long since I've reached out, and like, but then like I was saying, I was like, the normal way would be, can you do this for me? This is bad.
prayer request.
Can you fix this? And I was like, Daddy, I'm gonna try to get him from the other direction. What are you up to, man?
Gonna get you
What you need?
ordinary
What you need up there?
conversation.
What you need up there?
Yeah.
Coffee's way down here, you know? You need some coffee or something?
Right, that's what I found too, is just that, Hiccups, is talk to God or Spirit, just ordinary conversation. Hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
God, I've been thinking about you. Tell me about, your life. What's shaking, God?
It sort of came from that YouTube video I saw where the guy was trying to explain prayer and how to manifest, and his example was there was a drought and the crops wasn't growing, and he was saying the way to pray or to manifest would be to meditate on feeling the rain on your face, feeling your toes squishing through the mud, instead of saying, hey, I need this, I need that, do this, do that. Go ahead and meditate on the feeling of having it, and then it happens. That was just the way he worded it. So, sort of spin off of that.
Visualization.
Put
Feel-
yourself there mentally.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Going there mentally, and then bringing it to the physical.
Pretend
Do
it
you do
already
that?
happened.
Yep.
Imagine.
Fake it till you make it.
Is that one of your meditation practices, Trey?
Psyching myself. I tend to trick my subconscious into believing that whatever it is true until it becomes true. So I was listening to an audio book last night. I forget what it's called. How to Be Successful, and they had mentioned how you have to convince yourself. You have to tell yourself you're this great individual or being until your subconscious is like, oh, okay, yep, this is you, and then it plays out for you in your
Through
physical.
repetition? This sounds
Through
like
repetition.
That sounds like
Repetition.
something that
Yep.
Neville Goddard. Is that his name?
Yeah.
he's one.
Mhm.
Yeah, recent.
Sounds like some of the stuff he says.
So what's an example? Can you give us an example
What's
of
an example? Like, let me think. like LeBron, I guess. That I'll just start with LeBron. Most people know LeBron. He calls himself the king.
Basketball.
Basketball. One of the top NBA players.
Okay.
In the league today. He calls himself the king. He embodies that. And the world sees him that way because of how strongly he's convinced himself and everyone else around him that he's the king. He's the GOAT. And now, like, you look around, everybody views him that way. He's embodying it in the physical now, and it started in the mind. So that's just one example.
self-confident?
I imagine through that manifestation, it would almost be like going back to him in middle school. And even in middle school, he already had that, I'm going to be LeBron. I'm going to be the king.
Exactly.
And he's already playing that part because he knows that's who he's going to be. And I'm already in it. I don't need to wait till it happens to become that person.
And that was well said. And spinning off that, he took it back to middle school, which made me think of the childlike energy, that imagination, the creativity. That's where all of our power derives when
True.
we're operating
I
in
agree
that
with
childlike
that.
energy. That's why lately I've been climbing trees. I've been doing handstands.
I saw you
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
internet doing some
weird stuff like that, and it's just like I'm like, man, people are watching me, like grown people are like, what is this guy doing? And like I'm at the point now, I'm mastering the art of not giving a F, and I'm seeing the power behind that,
The art.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
He told me the other day. He
It's
said, I'm gonna learn how to do some backflips.
like parkour, face that fear, and you'll be surprised what you can, manifest.
Well, that's probably might be the most ancient of philosophies or psychologies or doings is face your fears.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the cliche, so to speak.
Right.
But it's been around, like, in our language and experience, like, forever.
Mm-hmm.
If we look back in the books, and what they say is basically are saying, face your fears.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the breakthroughs are at. That's where the true essence of experiencing being alive, not just living.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because being alive, we don't operate out of fear. I feel like when we're actually existing and being our true spirit, that fear doesn't exist. I feel like I could be wrong here. It's all opinionated, but I feel fear is a man-made construct.
We have innate fears of threats in the environment,
Right.
which is just an innate animal instinct.
Right.
But yeah, what you're we're afraid of people and whatever. That's environmental.
Right. So I agree. We have those innate instinctual fears, and then we have the programmed fears, what we've been taught, that's been constructed throughout our lives, and now they're fears.
Like a fear of engaging with other people in conversation.
And being accepted or validated,
Non-harmful fears that we shouldn't be scared of. But I mean, that goes back to the community essence within our evolution. We evolved better once we became a pact. And yeah, that fear is that you didn't want to be kicked out of that pack or be the shunned one.
No food for you.
Yeah, and that I imagine that's where a lot of that social fear. Yeah, and sometimes
fitting in.
that fear is about the only thing that makes you feel alive. Sometimes, in a weird way.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I agree with that. And kind of going off that fear making us feel alive. I was thinking recently, like, I feel like a lot of us as a people, we wake up and we want, as much as we claim we want peace, we wake up and we're looking for that next traumatic situation. What happened last night? Who was killed? What place got blown up?
It sort of gets comfortable because
Alive.
because it's what you know.
Right.
It's hypnotic.
Yeah, all that.
And we've been
That
in this
constant
space so
cycle.
long. The opposite space is foreign to us and more fearful now. Like,
Yeah.
So-
The comfort would
Yeah.
give you anxiety because you're not in that same struggle anymore. You don't have purpose anymore because you don't have that struggle that you were dealing with.
right.
Wow.
And
So true.
Good thought.
yeah.
Well, I'm slowly learning about manifesting our lives, and most people who are in the struggle, I'm starting to realize it's what they want. They sort, like you're saying, they sort of need it as a purpose or as comfort. If there's not something going wrong, then what do I have? And you just get stuck in it, and becomes you.
Yep.
The sadness,
The sadness.
the chaos.
We become engulfed in it. And then now, like, we're going through this great awakening, and kind of just flowing right now. But we're starting to see individuals, tapping in or waking up. And when like a non-conscious individual sees that, it sparks something in them. They might not know what it is or what that individual, where the feeling's coming from, but it's sparking something in them that, hopefully in return will lead to their awakening.
Right.
Yeah, somewhere down the line, like even me wearing my crystals, like a lot of people may look at it as witchcraft or whatever that, their views, but it's doing something to their soul and their spirit subconsciously. Like I said, that ultimately I would hope would lead to their awakening.
You find out you can't fight fire with fire, and the only way, like I say,
Because
I
all
always
that happens is more fire.
Yeah, it's just more
Yeah.
fire.
Burn down.
And I go back to like the Hermetic principles or whatever, where it's like you just got to lead by example. I can't teach you how to get there. I can only show you that I did it. And now it gives you the idea and the consciousness that you can do something different too. Something different happened.
Which comes back to your basketball guy,
Yeah.
is that he's doing that. Oh shoot, I can be confident, can I? I don't know, let me try.
And it also reminds me of like job interviews where they would say dress the part. Like you would spend all the money you had on a nice watch, the fancy suit, go ahead and get that car payment and get that really nice car and show up like you don't need the job, and you'll be the one that gets it compared to the person who's more skilled.
Confidence.
Yeah, you walk in with the confidence that you already got it. Y'all need me more than I need you.
Super attractive, right? Confidence is super attractive because a lot of times we're feeling a little insecure and we need an example that, oh, that is possible. Look.
This is what it looks like to be confident. You know, when you see it.
One way, there's lots of examples and archetypes, so to speak.
Right. Yep.
But which one do I relate to? That's kind of the question, right? Of the many examples of discovery. I could be that musician.
Trey told me that the other night. He said, if you give me that guitar, I'm going to learn how to play it. I'll become a musician.
Exactly.
And I was like, just that's all it takes. It's just a guitar, and now you're a musician. He actually said a very famous, you're going to make a lot of money musician.
And that's funny you brought that in because it's about being specific too. The more specific you are with it, you know.
You said it.
True.
Yeah.
You said it. I'm going to do it. I just don't have a guitar.
That is a fundamental truth.
Yes, and going off of that, like say you don't have a car, you try to manifest a car, right? And you just say, God, give me a car. Okay, He's gonna give you one right now. You got to put $10,000 into fixing it up.
Yeah.
And now the tires are going back. The engine's about to go off. I met it going off that story, and this isn't to brag, but I manifested a vehicle this year after not having one for a couple years, you know, due to life. And I didn't know how I was going to get it or even what exact vehicle, but I remember writing down every feature I wanted in the vehicle. And I got all of those features. I got a vehicle that I never imagined myself driving. It's a Honda Element. It's like a truck van, Jeep, all in one.
They look like a toy.
Yeah, it looks like a toy. It looks like a big toaster van, they call it. And my whole point is I asked for the specific details, and I got them all for free, too. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it to brag, but due to me writing every detail down and having faith, you know, that it's going to happen regardless of how it happened for me. So...
Well, my question in that would be, was there a visualization practice along with that? Or was that just a heartfelt writing?
It was a combination. Even though what I visualized wasn't that specific vehicle. I would say it was a combination. You know, seeing myself drive those details in the vehicle. You know, it was a truck specifically that I was looking for, but like I said, you know, yeah, it was a combination, I would say.
Did you get more than you asked for?
I don't know why that's such a great question, but I did. And why? What made you even ask that question? Because I did.
Because I've had similar experiences.
Yeah.
Recently, big experiences like that that have manifested, which I wrote down and really felt like this was my heart's desire. It wasn't just I was just, oh well, you know, I kind of like this and kind of like this. No, it just kind of came up suddenly. Said, oh shoot, I got to make a list, and it's not something I was thinking about doing for a while. It just kind of happened, and I had about 15 things on there. Like most of them happened. It exceeded.
Why do you think that is? But it did.
I don't know. It's hard to really pinpoint.
I don't either.
I feel like it was something that came out of me.
Could have been spirit showing you. It could have been spirit showing you because you put in this much energy and effort and faith. I'm gonna show you how powerful. It's more powerful than you realize, and I'm gonna give you.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little cherry on top.
You cashed in your
and do it again
tokens.
and see what I could do for you.
Right.
Yeah. I just had that download because I didn't know either, and I didn't even realize until the question that I got more than what I asked for. So that's beautiful.
You've been collecting those kindness tokens so long that you cashed them in.
Yeah, maybe.
Now you can't get into heaven, but you got what you wanted on this on this plane of existence.
You're in heaven.
Well, so what we're talking about here in this particular discussion with Trey and everybody, Ian and Hiccups,
Everybody.
is the manifestation process. How to manifest, how to have or be what we most desire, at least in our current state of awareness and consciousness. How to do that, like step by step, how to do that. And we touched on that already.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't say, okay, here's number 1, and here's number 2, and here's number 3.
Yep.
But we are kind of going through this. How to have what you want. How to manifest.
What I've been saying lately is it might be time to reevaluate your whys and why nots, because you're probably living on old excuses even though your questions have changed. And you're just still saying that same thing. I don't do this. I don't eat tomatoes, But you need to eat some tomatoes. You're not allergic to them. You're just not eating them because you said it as a child. It might be the best thing for you right now.
So what? Reevaluate, you said?
Yeah, just reevaluate what you're saying no to and what you're saying yes to, and as simple as that, you might find a new path.
Would that be like a pros and cons list, more or less?
So, like with when I started the journey with the drinking, it was like, I'm just not gonna drink, and it was that simple. It wasn't as big of a thing as I thought it was. It's just, I'm not drinking today. I'm not drinking right now. I'm not buying the beer. I don't have the beer in the refrigerator right now. I can't drink. And then it just, because before it was like, I gotta buy beer every night. I gotta buy, if I'm going somewhere, I'm buying beer. I'm gonna have beer. I can't show up with no beer. How am I gonna hang out and talk to people without beer?
It sounds like there was a shift, though, in your awareness and consciousness, because, we've tried that. Everyone's tried that. I have this thing that I'm always doing, whatever it might be, thoughts or stuff or behaviors. And or smoking. It's like, I'm just not going to have one. It's like, okay, the urge comes up. I don't know. I don't feel like it. I'm going with that. And that could extend, but often it's like, I'm just going to have it because
That's
I can.
funny.
But no, there's a real shift. It sounds like a shift.
That reminds me.
I'm just not going to do it. And it's like that continues.
I'm sure people can relate to this. Like, I have tried like not smoking cigarettes before, and I remember like days I'm driving down the road and I think to myself, "Wow, I ain't had a cigarette today. I'm doing so good." And then immediately after, I light one up. It's like, wow. So by me trying to give myself gratitude or congratulations for not doing it, it brought the thought back into my mind, and then I did it.
Yep, I've been guilty.
It's just the way we work.
And not feeling like bad. Not downing myself saying,
No.
oh, I was not going to do that. It's like, oh, well, I guess I had to smoke and leave it at that.
I heard it said before, it's like everything's like a yes or no. Like every moment of existence is you saying yes or no to something. And if you start your day and you go ahead and say yes to the positive things and stay on that track, it's easier than if you start your day like I start my day with a cigarette and coffee. If I never would have started it with a cigarette and coffee, the cigarette wouldn't go all through that day. It's like
Positive
you make
or
you make that conscious decision for the day to be cheat day, or the day to be the day that you don't worry about what you do and what you don't do. So it's like every step is a yes or no. Yeah, I don't know.
What we're not choosing, we're choosing. I don't know, that's what it reminds me.
Yeah, I've heard some. How's it go? I've heard something like that.
I think it's not exactly
What's
like
your-
that as far as the...
Yeah, there's a saying that goes with that. Something like that.
But yeah, going back to your question, like, or your statement, the manifestations. The reason, because you had made a statement how we didn't say 1, 2, 3, like we didn't give like an order of manifestations or whatever. I think because there's no one way of doing it, and I feel like it comes down to the individual. I might manifest this way. Ian may manifest this way, but we manifested similar realities, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's all about the individual as far as the steps necessary to take towards manifestation. I don't think now I feel like there are like key ways or like
Basic.
yeah, like
You gotta practice your own magic.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's
But there are...
sum it up.
I agree. There are some basic guidelines
Yes.
that we start out with, a simple structure. Okay, look, A, B, C, D, whatever. But then again, when we engage, we find our own little tweaks and our own little, this part actually is more important to me, right? Yeah. It's like learning.
I imagine it's like following a recipe and then realizing, it'd be better with some of this in it, and maybe
Might
let's
take
take this out and we'll add this in there as well. And yeah, you got to do whatever works for you.
Reevaluate.
But it's good to start out with a basic formula
Guideline,
or
yeah.
recipe, like what did you say, like and don't like? No.
You're wise and why
Yeah,
not?
wise and why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a formula.
The way I
That's a
see
recipe.
it is we're all manifesting at the same level. It's just you find someone in sad situations or hard times. I mean, I know, like you could say it's outside stimuli, but it's also that's what they're manifesting, because you can go away, you can take a walk, you can talk to the right, you can reach out. Those steps, those things you can do. It's just we choose not to. Like we were saying earlier, you get comfortable in having the trauma or having the conflict, and you don't really know how to live any other way, so you just keep manifesting conflict and struggle, and because it's comfortable, even like we were getting to.
Like comfort food.
Yeah, like eating junk food. It makes you happy at the moment, but it's just, if you just quit eating it, you would probably be
Just quit.
You might be happier. Who knows? But you've never tried. You've never tried not to do it.
I can't.
It's who you are now.
I can't.
I can't.
I tried. I can't.
That is that manifestation through LeBron. It's about believing who you are. If you are later saying, I'm just going to be suffering, I'm going to have this going on, you're putting that into play. You're becoming that just by getting caught in that habit of thinking that's what is going to happen.
Manifesting.
Yeah.
What about jokes?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I mean, it really is that more of, instead of saying I am going to be the king of basketball or whatever, it's, I'm going to be down later, I'm going to be tired, or I'm going to not feel good.
Or you can even take it a step further and say, I am the king in that present. You know what I'm saying?
No, that is what it is, but those people that are caught in that cycle of suffering, their mind is,
Yes.
I am the sufferer.
Yes.
That reminds me of something that I used to do a lot. I remember telling myself, I don't feel good today. And that would give me the excuse to take the nap or not do the project. And now when I hear myself say that, I automatically say, that's just that again. And then say, I feel great. I mean, today's a good day. I got tons of fun stuff to do,
So that's
Yeah, 'cause you realize
what
the
we
power.
call
Yeah.
becoming aware or awareness.
Yeah,
Right,
when I hear that inner voice say it like it normally does,
It don't resonate.
now it just turns to
Yeah.
something else automatically. Like it turns to,
Ooh.
now I need to go. Now I really
Did you
need.
hear that?
I don't even think he realized he said that.
Automatically.
Yeah, automatically.
Okay, that was cool.
That's the first time for me. Yeah.
I like that.
I've never heard you say that. I think that was spontaneous.
I've said it before.
Have you?
It's a word, I think. Or I just made
now.
I made
It's
it.
for
Yeah,
me.
it is now.
I don't know if it is for anybody.
That's like you, Trey, earlier saying, "Oh, I that just got downloaded" or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, download.
I like that one too. Like that thought was just dropped into me. Yeah.
Something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Just dropped in on me. And there's awareness again.
And
Wait a minute. That's a new thing.
gotta be open to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm Republican. Uh-uh. No
Okay.
openness here.
I
Or
just
Democrat, whatever.
I just had another thought that I remember, something I was doing as a young adult, and I learned the power of it. It's like, you know how, you have your parents, and you have your parents would say certain things like, you need to clean your room. You need to clean your room.
Brush your teeth.
And I found the trick to that would be, often I would say, I really need to get in there and clean that room, and go ahead and beat them to it, and then I would never do it. But they would hear that I already said it, so they wouldn't say it, and that's where the feeling comes from in the part of it, is when they say it, it feels more like it's, you need to go clean that room. But if I say it, it's like, I didn't go clean that room. I don't know. It's just something I used to do when I was younger to get away with life, like a little cheat code.
Yeah.
I know I left that mess out there. I'm gonna clean that up later. Later's a week, a week later.
I mean, we can do that for a little bit, but then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
You know that
I'm not
made me
gonna do
think.
it.
I know you were a kid, but that made
I
me,
still do it.
that made me think of like even now.
The
like,
kid lives.
Yeah, I wanted to blame it on a more childish version of me, but I still do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me think of now, like when a loved one or whoever it may be like points out a flaw of ours, we kind of don't want to hear it, or flaw, whatever word you want to use. We kind of want to hear it. It's like we kind of like, all right, I get it. I don't know. You just made me. It's kind of like we're running from. We don't want to face like our fears, our shadow. I don't know. It made me kind of related to that. Like nowadays, he didn't want to hear his parents say it because of the feeling it gave him.
I beat him to it. Yeah.
To avoid that feeling. Just interesting.
Cheat code.
Kids, listen. That's how you get away with stuff.
So subscribe to
Yeah.
Hiccups Cheat Codes
Yeah.
on how to get by in life but regret it later.
Don't. You can't take over the world with fear and anger. You got
yeah? Tell that to the Roman
Yeah,
Catholic
yeah.
Church.
The way to take over the world is through kindness.
Love and authenticity.
Depends which world you want to affect, I suppose.
You remember I used to say, if you put it on the back burner long enough, you find out you never need to do it in the first place. And
Ouch.
that was my whole life. That trailer, how long did that trailer sit there? 6 years? 4 years or so?
In the yard?
Yeah, that trailer, till I finally
Oh, the trash trailer.
I asked you to come help me pick it up for 2 years, and it sat there for a few years before that.
And I said, great, let's do it today. And they're like, well, I
I don't know about today.
I got a couple of back burners that are empty over here. Need filling. Manifestation. Favorite topic of mine. So it turns out that I can do that, or I have an ability to do that, or that has happened, so now the door is open to maybe doing again.
The door is open.
Bagel came in the room and said, "Oh, creature, Bagel, hi. Come on in.
Grand
Pull up
rising.
a chair." So yeah, that's when I got to experience in real life experience that, wow, I want to do this, and then that happened, and then I did that. It was a little outside. It was a reach for me, but it happened. That wow, there's a method of manifesting or getting what I want, and starting to do that more regular. And I don't know, it's an important experience for me.
It
to
then becomes like
follow
a
the
lifestyle.
steps.
Then it becomes like a lifestyle, and do you still call it manifesting at that point? It's your lifestyle that consists of manifesting all the time.
In order to relate to others, but not to myself. It's not manifesting anymore.
It's just living.
But how about this for a question? Could I, or you, could I manifest something for somebody else?
Oh, 100%.
They are you.
Or should I even do that?
It's I and I. There's no
Might
you. There
be.
is no them.
But should I? Should
That's a
I
good
do
point.
that? Should I say this person needs this, so I'm gonna go through my manifestation?
Well, if you're asking
For
if you
them.
should, then probably not.
That's where consent plays a big role into
Boom!
things.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Consent is huge, and I think when it comes to manifestation for other people, they have to be in on it. Because no matter how much work you do, if their thoughts and attention are focusing on the negative or the things that they don't want, it's counteracting the work of your manifestation for the things that they do want. And so I feel like manifestation for other people has to be something that is, one, consent forward, but also two, collaborative.
Collaborative. So,
Beautiful.
in religions like Christianity, for instance, prayers for others.
My favorite is when people ask me if they can pray for me.
Absolutely.
That is what I really enjoy, because whether or not I believe in your religion or your particular God, the fact that you would reach out to your highest power in order for my highest good means a lot to me, and I believe in the power of that.
Mm-hmm. Bless it.
But without
Consent.
consent, it becomes you pushing your will and your belief of what is my highest good onto me.
Yeah, that's a projection that.
Assuming.
And honestly, I don't think that manifesting can be
That's
done
assuming.
under that lens, because through that there's agenda, and then imposition through ego and ideas, and all these things are not in line with what the true cosmic consciousness is trying to bring to fruition. 'Cause
You're
at the end of the day,
assuming I don't want to be healed. I want to be healed.
well, when it comes down to it, it's a matter of like, I love how Ram Dass puts it. Like, you shouldn't. Well, I shouldn't even say that.
Back up.
Should. Because if you're shoulding upon yourself or others, right? If you're saying you ought to, I should, then you probably aren't in a place to actually receive that. You got to get good and fed up with it to where the only thing left to do is sit and meditate. You know, if you're
Is
still
that your
shoulding,
experience?
if you're still shoulding, then just get good and done with, like, just do it. Go consume. Go. You know, that's how we learn. You know, suffering is our greatest teacher at the end of the day.
A
And it's
fool
like,
in his suffering. A fool that. What is that saying? A fool that continues in his folly will become wise.
but the thing is like, oftentimes when it comes down
It's an old
to
one.
trying to facilitate for people, you get caught up in being the helper. You start to become this like motion of the helper rather than the thing that's actually the help. You know, because it's more about you in that moment and what you can do.
Oh yeah, that's no way to
Right.
hold space.
You know, and it's like that's where consent comes in, and that's where communication comes in on a personal level of actually like creating and holding that space consistently. You know, it can't be, oh, you should do this, that's just garbage. Like, it's-
I feel like feel like when we think of manifesting or manifestations in general, as like a people, we're thinking positive, but manifestations could also be
they go both ways.
both ways. So it could also be something dark, right? So going back to what you said, can you manifest, or can you manifest for someone else, right? I agree wholeheartedly with your response, but what about on the side where it's like, say someone has so much hate for an individual and they want to manifest death on them, right? So, yeah, dark magic. So you want to manifest death on an individual. You don't need them to be in the light for, you know, you don't need them to be in union with that energy for it to take place. And if you feed that dark energy enough, that individual can meet death.
The thing about manifestation is that it's happening all the time.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and people are oftentimes manifesting what they don't want.
That's what I was saying.
You know,
earlier.
I don't want to get sick this year. I don't want to deal with the, you know, that's, instead of saying what you don't want, say what you want very
Right.
clearly, like asking for the gift, right? What is,
Mhm.
are you my spirit guide? Do you have a gift for me? You know, that's a humbling place to be.
Going back to what you said though about dark magic and manifesting ill will, I think again it would have to be a collaboration for it to be successful. There's got to be a part of them that is also focusing on the negative and manifesting that,
That is true.
or else they would
They have to be
counteract your
susceptible.
manifestation.
They have to be
so one
Okay,
way or
I
another,
like that.
manifestation has to be collaborative. The person that you're working with has to be in on it, whether consciously or subconsciously, in order for it to fully take effect.
I love that. Now, with that being said, what if the individual, not that it's a competition or one's better than the other, but what if the individual on this side is more tapped in with energy and utilizing energy? Does that play a part?
100%.
See, so
So, but I also believe that in those cases, the person that is tapped in often isn't going to be using it for those dark magic purposes, because once you're tapped in, you really get an understanding that we're all sharing the same energy, the same planet, the same love, and the desire to really hurt or corrupt others kind of goes away when you realize that what you're actually doing is hurting yourself.
We were talking about this last night, and it's like, I think being a shitty person is a lot easier. You know, in a lot of moments of my life where I'm sitting there really dealing with some kind of inner conflict, I could easily just go, whatever, you know, and flip the table.
Whatever.
But that, it's easy to be hard, you know, but to soften my ways, to really like pull back and go, no, you know, let's hold space, let's figure out what's going on here, like going against that conscious
Responding versus reacting.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, me and him were talking about this earlier this year. A response is typically a type of reaction, right? Everything is an action and reaction. And so, what's the other word as opposed to response to reaction in the negative?
Pause.
Passive. Just let
We weren't able to find this out.
let it move on.
Pause. I would say pause.
Processing versus reacting. Like potentially. Like,
Because reaction, or what's the first one? Reaction and response. There's a pause there. Sure. See, oh, I'm not going to react. I'm going to respond. So the next step would be pause a little longer. Pause. So that's
So process.
meditation. Pause
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
longer.
Process.
Pause a little. Pretty soon it's like clarity.
you have to give yourself time to really go through the emotional reaction, understand what that means for you, where that comes from, and then make a deliberate choice on how you want to respond to that, not based on how necessarily other people or other situations are treating you, but based on who it is that you want to be at the end of the day. And
Ooh, that
that's
sounds
when
like
you
a
choose
lot.
to respond.
That's a lot of.
It's work, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Do I even care to be changed or be different, or is there even an opportunity, an option? I'm going to be that guy or
Yes.
that girl, and whatever it takes, that's what I'm gonna do.
You get to choose in every moment the person you get to become. It's not this grandiose big life thing. It is in every small moment, every minor decision that you make. And I do believe that we do have control into the people that we become when we take time and really pause
There
and
must be a
process.
motivating factor for that, all that work.
More
What's that
love.
work?
More love, more openness, more connection, more joy, more authentic
Unity. Yeah.
like moments in my life and with other people, and getting to share in that is
Happiness
worth
sounds
it.
like you're heading towards feeling fulfilled and happy and joyous. That's your motivation, is that direction.
Well, and also for other people as well. For me, a lot of my pausing involves giving grace to mistakes and miscommunications and other things that might hurt me, where I want to respond harshly. And I find in those moments when I give grace, of love in your shadow moments. So it's very much like, yes, it is for me, but it's also for others. It's like growing the collective consciousness by adding more grace, by adding more
Is
love.
grace a sort of a pause of my own personal
Muji,
interjection?
Grace for me is
I love grace. I have to stop you on grace because
Yes.
that's a real important part of my psychology.
I think grace is tied in a lot with nuance and understanding where another person might be coming from and giving them the benefit of the doubt. And even if they did something intentionally wrong, choosing to say, I see you, I know you are not your actions, I know you are not your mistakes, and I'm going to love the person you are and not the mistakes you've made. And not judge you for the mistakes you've made, and giving them that opportunity to choose to be themselves again, to be in alignment with themselves again, with the person that they want to be.
Higher self or better self or
I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea of like better. I think it creates like this agenda and this like
Yeah.
finish line that you can never cross. But I think a chance to be more in alignment with the person they want to be as a means of becoming the person that they are.
but say you were sick, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're getting better minute by minute in that moment.
Yeah.
And so, let's say the human mind has a sort of sickness towards it when it comes down to this like identification with the physical and the ego and all these
Unhealthy, yeah.
actions. Like that's not very like the Four Agreements definitely painted it like that in the beginning of the book, being like the human experience has this infection, you know, and so like to get better is something that is definitely real. And I if I were to think that there wasn't better, I'm not sure that I would be able to really like gauge where to go.
pain
from
and pleasure.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's, but at that point you're observing like the same vibration. And
Like
I love how we were listening to this podcast last night. Damien Eccles and Duncan Trussell. He said you literally start to see the current. It sounds crazy, but you feel like you start to see the things that are pulling things in other directions, and like you can tap into that more and more once you start to look at reality as a mentality rather than a physical kind of thing. Because in reality, like 5% of matter is actually physical, and everything we see is either empty space or energy.
Well, that's all science, yeah.
Well, yeah, science is coming into
No, that's
understand
just science.
just now what Vedas have been understanding thousands of years, sitting up on the Himalayas going.
Oh, science,
Like,
science is catching up. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Slowly.
they've understood that. The
Yeah.
Tibetan Book of the Dead just directly describes this transcendental psychedelic experience through that of the lens of death.
Pretty cool.
And
To further clarify, I suppose, on the idea of better, I do agree that there is a better, but when I'm speaking with somebody, I don't like to use the term
because you can't
better.
be
It's
the
a
person to
gradation,
point out
for
what's
sure.
better. Only the person
Yeah,
like
that's
themselves
Exactly,
can.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not my place to tell them like this is better. My
100%,
job, I
right.
believe, is to hold a mirror and show you this is who you are. This is how
I'm a
you're.
vampire.
This
Yeah.
is how you're behaving. Do you like this? Do you support this behavior? If you do, I'm going to continue to love and support you. But if you don't, I just want to let you know that it's there. And so I feel like better is subjective because it depends on what the person believes
Feels for
is
themselves, yeah.
feeling for themselves. So I
Yeah.
don't think it's my place to say, oh, you could be better, or like you're not in alignment with your higher or better self, because like for me, I don't know what that is for them. All I can do
How
is
do you
point out.
manifest?
How do I manifest?
What's your technique?
Wait. That Trevor Hall lyric, my love is just a reminder, find your center. You know, like that's
Exactly.
truly it. Like you have to like, if you truly love somebody, who was it? Was it Judy Goodman? You know what I'm talking about? Her and Jack Kornfield.
Definition of true love, I guess.
She said, if you love somebody, the only thing that you can do to be there for them is be the space in which, if they choose, they can breathe. You know, be that space where they can breathe if they choose to do so. Like, it's not your
Always
prerogative
an invitation,
to.
never an obligation.
Exactly.
Clean your room!
So amazing. It's like just a reiteration of everything we said this morning. It's all coming right back out.
Full bagel.
It sounds so much better when y'all say it.
In answer, Grandpa, to your question about manifestation, my manifestation practices always start with gratitude for what I already have in a means of getting into alignment with the fact that, like, the things I want already exist.
Say that again. That was crucial.
My manifestation process starts with gratitude for what I already have to get myself in alignment with the idea that what I want already exists for me.
Wow. What do you think, Trey? Sound about right?
That was on the money. That was on the money.
I would answer the question, how do you
You
shine
pulled
the
that
sun?
right out of Ian's head that he didn't even know he had that.
We all have it. Yeah. Just have to remember what we have.
It starts with gratitude.
More
Couldn't
simply,
agree more.
more simply
Always.
put, how do you
And
shine the sun?
gratitude.
Huh?
How do you shine the sun?
How do we
we shine the sun?
shine the sun with gratitude?
By being.
Because then we can get in
By being.
alignment with what
We're
we
human
already-
beings, not human doings,
It
my
was-
friends.
We already, with gratitude, sets us up for the feeling that we already possess in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
We're already receiving. And
Already,
it opens us
already.
up to receive more.
So that's another one, kind of like a prayer. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you that I can be thankful, whatever, thank you, whatever, thank you, that is.
I could be, thank you.
But thank you that I have been given the ability to be grateful.
Not to be that guy, but you know, I've learned like this past year, like it's even, you know, words are very specific. We know the power of words, but it's even better to say gratitude, even as opposed to thank you, because you're in a way making yourself inferior to whatever you're thinking versus just expressing that feeling of gratitude. You know, that's just my opinion, and I kind of ran with that, and I use the word I'm grateful all the time, and gratitude, that's like my favorite word, so I think that's dope you use that.
Yeah,
and I
thank
think that's
you
very important.
invokes the who's you.
Yeah.
What am I even saying?
Right.
That's a
The
mystery,
Rastas.
a mist that we want to refine.
Do you ever find that, given that we are here in human bodies for the human experience, that sometimes it can be important or helpful to acknowledge the you and acknowledge the space where in certain situations we are on different levels, and the word inferior holds a negative connotation, but sometimes there is somebody that is above me that has given something to me that helps lift me up, and I do want to thank and acknowledge the work that they have done in their journey that allowed them to do that. And I don't feel necessarily like I'm inferior in that moment, while also recognizing that I was not on that level. Does that resonate at all?
There's a curious, well, words are curious in the first place, but a lot of times in our normal speech we say, you know how it is when you are in this situation and you feel this way, and you then kind of have a sense you want to go here, and then we're doing this you thing. But it's like we have mirror neurons. We have this but you is actually in our ears me. There's a strange chord of switch there that's happening.
Thank you very
So when we talk about thank you, the part of that is I'm thanking myself, but I'm also thanking that which I'm not really sure is there necessarily, but is a part of my goodness and is a helper and a protector and a guider. Use a very interesting.
I think with any power
I mean, it's
of
giving away of power too. I see that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying about it. But I agree with what you're saying. I think it's more of your perspective. You're not viewing it that way. But I'm speaking on like the words that we're using and the power behind words when we're saying thank you. It's we're thinking it's like speaking to something outside of us or coming off inferior when we say it that way versus just expressing that gratitude.
So we should say thank us.
no,
I just literally say gratitude.
in the Rasta tradition, they say bless up, because, you know, it's like all actions are unto.
And even bless, here we go again.
Yeah.
I like to say bliss. I like to say bliss because bless, I've learned, it means to be less. So that's That one, like, I know it sounds like people are you doing too much, you're reaching, but it's just like I've realized the importance of words, so I'm willing to change.
Well,
I'm
what do we do?
change that
Spell
letter.
words.
Yeah.
We're spelling words, right?
Yeah,
so it's
they're all spells.
We're
Yeah.
casting spells.
Yeah.
We are little
Bless-
antennas at the end of
Less
the day.
is less.
Yep.
You know, it's a, what do you call that? It's a not, it hadn't had much substance to it, but it's there. Bless.
Like morning, like good morning, grand rising.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
yeah.
exactly.
Grand
Like
rising.
I'll,
I'm not
if it
morning.
happens, if I'm walking to the grocery store, like it happened today, someone said good morning. I didn't want to be extra. I just said it back. Good morning. Sometimes I will just go with the
Me
flow.
too, me too.
And especially if it's just a
Meeting people where
stranger.
they're very
Yeah.
crucial.
Yes.
We don't want to throw people off. We don't want to interrupt.
I get
people's
such nice
zone,
smiles
you know,
from Grand
so we can-
Rising sometimes.
So we can
Mhm.
just be complimentary and say, yes, I'm agreeing with your reality.
Which also goes back to what you were
Not
saying too,
to-
by just saying thank you. It can gotta work that way as well. So
I think a lot of the power in words comes from what you believe in them. So if bless is negative to you, I don't, as we're saying, the positive and negative and the best, but if it is bad to you, then yeah, don't use it. But a lot of it is what it means to you instead of the actual word or what it means to other people. So when they're saying good morning, maybe it means something different to you in your head, but to them, they're sharing kindness to you. They're trying to give goodness to you in the only way they know how. And that's simple words, simple recognition that you are here, I'm here, and I wish good intentions to you.
intention.
Salutations, my friend.
Yeah.
I love that one. Greetings.
I was
to-
rebellious. We were rebellious because we're trying to break out of the code that we were taught. And so we're going to do things opposite. But then, after a while, we realized, like we're talking about, forget about that. Or we move through our rebellion and say, I can fit in, but be individual. But really feel I'm okay. Yeah,
What's the?
something like that.
So good morning. It's like saying, "Be okay with death."
What's your take on
Yeah,
that?
What's the good?
It's not spelled like that.
It's not spelled the same way. It definitely seems to be more of an inundation towards like I'm not really sure where the etymology of mourning comes from. I'd actually be interested to look.
Yeah.
Honestly, oftentimes whenever I'm diving into the observation of spells and how we use them, I like to go back into like the framework of how they were created in the first place.
Etymology
Yes.
or whatever.
And that's truly a good way of like
Yeah, that's fun.
disseminating out like its original intention. And so
Well, how it
Agreed,
feels is important too.
mourning
But
and
perhaps maybe it's a recognition of letting yesterday go.
Yeah, the death of.
Mourn it this morning. It feels good. Let it go.
Yeah.
It's a new day.
Be happy that tomorrow's gone and.
so mourning comes
I like
from
that.
the Middle English words morwen or morrow, which eventually became morrow.
Tomorrow.
I want to share where I had heard. I don't know, it's just a story I had heard why people don't like to use good morning is because back in slavery times, like the more physical slavery times, when the slaves at nighttime when they would be getting beat or whatever, or like a part of the family would be getting whipped or whatever, the owners would come to them the next day and then ask them did they have a good morning. A good morning from the whippings
healing
and stuff. So
That's
good. Did you have good morning?
Yeah.
So that's what I heard.
Are you healed enough to go back to work?
Yeah,
Or something like.
Did you have a good morning last night? Good crying. Like morning means to cry, right?
Yeah.
Or weep.
More.
That's what
Wow.
we're saying. The spelling
Yeah,
is different.
I mean, that's
yeah.
what happens.
The spelling.
There are two different. there are two different.
Mourning.
Yeah.
like sadness
Mourns.
and death, and
You are in and
That morning.
Are in. Yeah.
like the morning
Okay, so
dove. is-
mourn. The prefix in Greek means to sparkle, and so the morn was the first moment when the sun would come over the horizon, and so it became morn, morrow, morning, so on and so forth. They're homophones, and that's kind of like a problem
like that.
with the English language. Is
Yeah.
like they oftentimes do that.
I like
But it's
that.
also because it's a very noun-based language. in a lot of verb-based languages, for example, there aren't even words for please and things like that.
Your experience. What's your experience with mourning?
My experience with mourning,
Because we're getting into scientific stuff.
it's not science.
And
That's
what's
just
your-
science.
What's your experience with mourning?
Confused by the question.
Coffee.
It's a new day.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Well, in the aspect, like,
you said,
why I
it's
choose to say grand
individual.
rising is because we are up in a state of rising rather than
Rise up.
the
Oh, bless up.
observation of, well, that'd be thank you. But, like, mourning definitely carries that energetic value to it. It being a
For you?
homophone to mourn, like, I'm in loss, right? I don't want to be feeling that energy of loss whenever I'm simply greeting the day. Oftentimes I'll say salutations or like greetings. Rather.
I think a lot of the spelling with words is also the magic you put behind it. Because at this point, good mornings become pointless. You're just saying it to say it and not actually putting actual magic or feeling or emotion behind it.
Well,
Sometimes.
have you guys ever said
Yeah, I mean,
anything?
you can, but it's like typically you're just running through the motion.
Yeah,
I just
robotic.
came from a place where every single person that told me good morning or happy Friday or happy Saturday
Happy
was
Friday.
so authentic, and there is so much power. So I think it's important to remember that no absolutes, you know.
Looks
No,
like somebody's
more of
got a
it's,
case of the Mondays.
I'm more of I bring it up. I bring it up to acknowledge that, to remember to put that magic behind it, if you want to make it worthwhile.
Versus
to
just
actually
saying it.
mean anything at all. Yeah, put that trueness and realness behind whatever you are doing, because that's when the magic is created.
Yeah. My favorite way to address the day is instead of good morning or
My
grand
favorite way
rising.
to adjust the day.
Is that what you
Address.
said? Oh.
Oh, address.
My favorite way to address the day is happy whatever day it is.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Happy moment.
Monday.
Yeah, I used to say
Happy
that.
New Now.
Happy New Now.
Happy New Now. Because that's my wish.
Happy
Frank, what's
birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's your birthday.
Hey, so we've all said things in our lives where the words didn't transmute truly, you know, and then later on in your life, whenever you feel like the energy is like there, you've said the exact same statements or heard a lyric or whatever, and it had an entirely new like
Oh yeah.
Love that.
boom, like it's a matter of the current. You know, this is an oral tradition, and people assume that it's like a bunch of stories passed down, yada yada yada, but as little control as we have of life around us right now while we're here, we have even less control of the stories that are told about us when we're gone. This is where man and myth meet, truly. It's what creates that magic. It's the curiosity of the human experience. It's what furthers us through the dark with our little flames, trying to
Curiosity?
find one another. Yes, that's what it is. Magic, truly. That's what
Curiosity.
The imagination.
the imagination. And so at the end of the day, that current is something that we all have an obligation to pass, especially now that we've received it in certain aspects.
Is that right?
This energy flows through.
Obligation.
Yes.
Are you saying we should
Really?
pass it?
On to. Yeah.
We should.
We
On
should.
to-
No, we should.
We should.
We're gonna undress today.
We're shooting on each other. Okay, I'm sorry.
Obligation.
It's never an obligation,
Got 'em.
it's an invitation, and although it might be
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my humanness. I'm sorry for my
Yep.
humanness. I'm sorry. I'm shooting on you guys.
I'm sorry, person.
Yoda would say you do or you don't. There is no try.
Sorrow. I'm experiencing sorrow.
Sounds like morning.
No, that's
Sounds like
another
a-
one. That's actually another one.
Sounds like a good morning.
We should have a group morning.
I'll cry right
Aren't we?
here, right now.
I'm crying already.
Sad sitting. Have you ever consciously been a sad sitter? Like really say, wow, I'm gonna be sad because this person's sad, and in our sadness, we can unite. You ever done that, Trey? Consciously?
Consciously, yeah, I have. I feel like I do that often, due to my nature of who I am and the healer I am. I can what you call a sad sitter. I can catch myself being a sad sitter. Would you view it as like a bad or a negative thing, so to speak? Like, how do you view sad sitting in general? Do you feel that that's something that's beneficial or lucrative to the person you're sitting and yourself, or what? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that.
Can I
Yeah.
share my
Yeah.
perspective?
Here's the last one.
I refer to it as sitting in the mud with people. And my job when I'm sitting in the mud is to just be there with you in the mud. I don't have to take on this mud as my own mud, but I'm going to sit with you until you're ready and we can walk out together. And I feel like in my healing practices, that's really my sad sitting, is sitting in the mud with people. And sometimes I do embrace the sadness, but I let it flow through me rather than holding on to me. I'm not becoming sad. I'm just experiencing. I'm sitting with sadness and waiting for the moment when they're ready to go, so they have somebody that can go with them and, tell them to watch their step as they're trekking through the mud.
Hold their hand, maybe.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. And you're saying you feel like you're at the level where you don't absorb it?
Yes. One of the coolest things I got.
There's a couple of avenues of thought on that, but please go ahead.
When I became a Reiki practitioner, one of the things that they taught us is that we are not the source, we are the cord, we are the channel. And so as we're doing healing work, it's not for us to hold on to, it's not for us to put our own energy into, it's for us to act as a channel from the person to the source and really letting it flow through us and not attaching to it as our own, because it's not ours to hold. And when we do that, it becomes ego. It becomes a sort of
Take it
selfish, I
personal.
can heal you kind of thing. And that's not what it's
Right.
about. It's not about me healing you. It's about me channeling the healing energy that exists all around you that maybe you need a little more access to. And so I find that was one of the most important things that I learned through my Reiki attunements, was learning how to sit with somebody in their hurt, feeling that hurt and not taking it on as mine, because it's not
And
mine.
allowing that to keep moving.
It does. It's got to keep moving. It's got to keep
And there's
flowing.
the shield.
Yeah, the
shield?
armor.
What, the crystals?
There's the armor. Well, there's the two ways. There's the receiving and allowing it to go through or moving. But then there's the other part is shield. I'm not going to allow the dark
Yes.
energy to even enter. That was what I meant by that.
Oh,
So a
okay.
couple different ways of
But still doing that healing work
And
without
still being present.
Yeah, still being present.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like, who am I in the situation?
But I don't
Yeah,
choose
it
that.
ain't even mine to
I-
hold
I
on
don't-
to.
I don't choose shielding.
But I did last
Because
time.
I was taught to shield and hide. So I try and focus more on receiving and just letting go. Because to me that was, I don't know, more better, I guess.
I feel
More
like
better.
shielding comes from a place of necessity when you can't allow something to flow through you. And so in order to be present and support somebody, you need to shield, because you might not have
I
the
see.
tools available to let it go. And when you get in those feelings, especially like I notice a lot of highly empathetic people that do a lot of
Good
shielding
example, yeah.
because they don't have the ability to distinguish between what they're feeling and what is theirs. And so I do think, like, for certain people it's necessity,
Good
but when you
clarification.
have those tools and you have the ability to let something flow through you, it's a lot less scary, and you're like, what do I need the shield for? I'm not going into battle.
I don't need to resist at the moment.
Exactly.
That would be a conscious awareness of a person's chemistry or makeup or, yeah, on which to choose. Ooh, that one is getting to me, I'm just gonna shield a little bit and not be porous.
Using your discernment.
So we're talking
Heard that
about
word the other
our life, you know, how, you know, emotional we are, how to navigate this human experience. And a few things. One of them is how to manifest, or certain techniques on how to manifest, how to protect ourselves in this energetic chaos we find ourselves in sometimes, how to navigate, and different tools for that. How, just kind of a recap, how to be that person that we feel maybe most connected to, or more like I want to be that guy or that girl because that empowers me or makes me feel a certain way. The affirmations maybe, or the steps on how to do that.
Fake it till you make it
Right?
is manifestation.
I'm not in that
Embodiment.
car or in that job right now, but I'm gonna say yes I am and feel that. Ooh,
Well, really, you're not even faking it. You
You're
know?
embodying it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I get that's
Right, it's
yeah,
just a
I'm with
saying.
you, yeah,
It's just a
the
saying.
But yeah, you're embodying it until you fully grasp it.
and imitation, like when we're kids, right? That's really, well, how does this taste? What's this feel like? I'm gonna do what they're doing because we're largely an imitation machine. Because what do we know? How are you doing it? Oh well, how do you do that?
The guy said if you want it to rain, imagine the feeling of the rain on your face and the mud between your toes. And that's how it rains.
There we are, back to our superpower, imagination.
Yeah.
We're gonna take about a 5-minute little drum journey, and we'll be back. So, we'll be back. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to be. We're just here resting, receiving, allowing, floating downstream. Legends from the Painted Cave, WCOM FM LP, Carborough Chapel Hill. In the studio today, we have Ian. Welcome back, Ian.
Hey everybody.
It's been a minute.
with his long hair.
Hiccups? Thank you for
I'm back
waiting.
again.
Back again. Creature, nice to have you in the studio again. You were here a few weeks ago.
Yes, thank you for having me back.
Trey, is this... No, it's your second time
It's my
also.
first.
It's your
It's
first
my
time,
first, and
okay.
I'm grateful. Appreciate y'all.
Give yourself a shout out.
And
Shout out.
Yeah, give
Last
them the
but-
links.
always the most impressive and important, Bagel, Jamin Bagel. Thank you for the guitar. It's lovely. And me, your host. 2 years
Thank-
last week.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how they tolerate me because they sure as heck threw me out as Shikori almost.
Oh my! This is what you do.
Well,
You spark these conversations like 2 minutes before it's time to get off the air.
Well, I did want to kind of go around and
We could.
say what you would like to, mostly pertaining to your practice and your elevation and evolution and experience of life to this time, but like keep it within a minute and give us your bright points of like that, sort of, if you know what I mean, like about a minute each, so we can have some announcements at the end. Let's start with Ian.
I think it's always good to keep it simple. You're doing just as you're supposed to be doing. You're perfect. Yeah. That's all you need to remember.
Reiterate, please.
You, I think it's in any of these practices, it's best to keep it simple and not get too caught up on right or wrong or this way's better than that. But just know you're on your path. Yeah, that's all you need to remember.
That what I'm doing, where I'm going, where I've been, what is happening now is okay, and
It all happened as it should.
There's
and
no wrong way to do you.
It shall continue doing that. Yeah.
how did you achieve that, or how are you achieving or being in that? Very simple.
As we're talking earlier, I think it's about finding whatever works best for you. And that uses my mind. Yeah. Helps me find
Is there a
peace of
certain
mind.
practice or mantra, say, that works for you? Affirmation, maybe?
I think a lot of times, almost as Hiccups was questioning earlier of how to pray, I think it's important to speak to that higher power, but as you're doing that, also be speaking to yourself. So Hiccups was saying, how are you today, God? You know, have that conversation with yourself. Remind yourself you're doing good. Remind yourself that you have all you need, you know. And when you're saying thank you, you know, you're saying thank you to yourself. As long as that thank you makes you feel good. Yeah, I think it's doing whatever feels right to you. But either way, you're going to do what you're supposed to do. So, yeah. And that's the big one, yeah. Just keep being you. Just be.
Trust is what I hear.
Yeah,
you
trust,
saying.
faith. Yeah.
Thank
You are the light. Yeah.
Trey.
So you want me to share like what my heal? So
Yeah.
well, first I want to say I my goal or what I strive for in this lifetime is just to operate out of love and authenticity, and I feel like those, and make sure to show gratitude. And I feel like those are some of the highest frequencies you can operate on, you know, in this realm that can not only assist yourself and humanity. And I'm currently I work with crystals and copper, and I utilize the energy of the stones and the copper, the natural resources, to assist people in their healing. I'm not doing the healing for them, but I understand that these crystals all have their individual consciousness like we do as well, and they're put here to help us evolve and elevate as a collective consciousness. So I work with the natural resources, the crystals, the herbs, sound, and things like that to implement, and I implement that in, you know, my lifestyle, and that's how I heal myself and others. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on social media, Divine Soul Healing, soul with the SOL, and it's Divine Soul Healing. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I'm on most platforms. I also make music. I go by Trey Soul, and that's SOL, TREYSOL, and I'm on most platforms as well. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you, because, you know, that's our announcement and our, you know, how people can get a hold of us if they're interested. So thank you for that.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you.
Great job.
My parting words is that life is beautifully messy, and we are beautifully messy, and I think one of the things we can do in our spiritual practices is to embrace that, lean into the chaos a little bit, because the universe gives us unexpected gifts when we just lean back and trust it. And I think come in with curiosity rather than with a plan, and see what gifts are there for us rather than searching for what necessarily it is that we think we need or we think we want, and just embracing, you know, kind of what is, and embracing ourselves for what we are rather than striving for perfect, while also looking towards the people we want to be in a way that allows for us to be wrong, if that makes any sense.
Say that little last part again. Striving
to accept ourselves where we are, while also working towards being in alignment with who we want to be, while leaving room for us to be wrong, you know? We may go down this path thinking this is who we want to be, and discover that it's not quite right, or discover that something's a better fit for us, and leaving room, getting rid of a little bit of that rigidity, leaving room to be wrong in your growth.
Is there a point that you foresee possibly in the future where there will not be that room to be wrong?
No. We are messy, messy humans, and one of the only things that we're going to always do is
That was a
make
bit of
a
a
mistake.
trick question, but yeah.
We're going to be wrong sometimes, and I think that's okay. Going back to speaking about grace, one of the best things we can do is give ourselves grace to be wrong, and to make a mistake, and to go down the wrong path, and to learn from those experiences.
Ouch. The wrong path. Thank you, creature.
The wrong path.
The right,
The left path.
The right, wrong path.
perfectly imperfect.
How about you, Higgett? Perfectly.
I'm only here to learn.
On the ego, on the path.
So it's never too late to reevaluate your whys and why nots. We find ourselves running on old excuses so long. Things change constantly, and we still use the same old excuses. I look forward to my book, How to Get Away with Anything, Cheat Codes to Life. Find us Legends from the Painted Cave, Facebook, Instagram. We got the YouTube page up. Spirit finds pine cones, my pine cone stuff. But yeah, just be love.
So I have an announcement here.
It's Bagel's turn.
I know, just real quick. Tell us about our good friend.
Louis has his new YouTube page that he's putting up, where he discusses different meditation practices and different types of meditation, his thoughts on meditation. It's under his actual name.
Louis Magura, Magura. Magura?
I think so.
Yeah.
Did I spell that right? M-A-G.
Magura. Louie Magura.
Yeah, check out our dear
Louis Maguru.
scientist turned guru meditation explorer. Check out his page. Jamin Bagel, what's your formula for having skin on your bones?
answers or any real solutions. I'm just as confused as you, only human.
I'm not confused.
That statement.
You can hear the confusion.
Thank you, God, you saved my ass. Appreciate that. Got my back. Thank you.
Question mark at the end.
Louis, shush. It's my turn.
Sorry, Louis. Louis will not shut up.
No.
We love you, Louie.
Just develop that witness place. I can't say that I have any understandings at the end of the day, or even in this moment. But gratitude is definitely key. It is the currency of our gift economy that we have.
Our what?
Our little gift economy that we have.
Gift.
Yes.
Gift economy?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
When it comes to like our tribal tendencies and the communities that we build, especially at these music festivals, the gift of each other's beings, you know, understanding that every moment is truly a gift, and everything that we have is based in grace, and just softening my ways, because I'm already kind of, you know, naturally hard exterior. So, yeah, just holding more space for myself and others. Breathing. Each new breath, there's a new experience to be had.
Softening.
Softening my ways.
Legends from the... Thank you. Bagel can be found on the streets of Carrboro as busking and
Until about Friday. I'm leaving next week.
heading up to the mountains.
Yeah.
Cool. Friday?
Next
yeah.
Friday.
Well, if you're not, you meet us at
Well, no,
Jason's.
Okay.
Meet us
Wrap
at
it up,
Jason's. Thank you, Legends from the Painted Cave. Thank you all for being a great studio convo. This is being recorded, so anybody that wants to buy this recording, no, just kidding. Always by donation. Love you all.
Peace.
1, 2, 3. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here and joining us. The chorus. Legends from the Painted Cave. Love y'all.